This is going to be a real and raw review of my 2024. I'm going to take you on a journey to see how this year has been for me from the beginning until now, using some really interesting journaling prompts. This is where I'm going to advise you to pick your journal if you have one, or a notepad, so that we can, journal together. But before we get into that, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the love and the support, the likes, the share, the comments. It is such an honor to have this kind of community. If you're just coming across my video on my channel for the first time, my name is Deyi-Daniel. I am building a community of 100 million people who are crazy about growth. I film about personal, career, and business growth. You should be a part of this community, so subscribe already. Okay, so let's dive into my year. I have with me this really beautiful journal that was a gift from my friend and sister Abigail Ukewale. Shout out to you, baby. When I received this journal, I legit cried because it just catered to my need at that time. It was a season where I deeply wanted to journal and I wanted something really beautiful to use. And just before I could even think of, oh, let me get one, I received one as a gift, and it means so much to me. So just in case you see me looking down, I have this journal where I'm going to be reading my prompts from. So the first journaling prompt that I have here is, what was 2024 about? 2024 was the year that I became a mom. It was the year that I had my first baby. 2024 is my first experience with motherhood. And honestly, at the beginning of the year, I'm not going to lie to you, I did not have so much plans or brain busting goals. Things were not so structured for me because at the beginning of the year, I was heavily pregnant and there was just quite some limits to the things that I could push myself to do at that season for me. And so that period for me was just quite slow. Of course, I made some New Year notes, this is what I would like to achieve, but then it wasn't really detailed. And honestly, I didn't really know what 2024 was about for me until October. I just knew that there were a lot of things going on with me. It was like I was starting my life over. I started to see different layers to me. I started to have a new sense of identity. And it was shocking because I'm a kind of person that used to scream about identity. So seeing myself in a different light was a shock. I don't know if it came with being a mom, but I didn't really get what to call this year until it was October, when the word for the month came for my church, Light Nation, and the word for October was sprouting. And that was when I realized that this is what is happening to me. There was a breaking forth, a coming out, a beginning that I did not really see coming for me. Maybe it's happened because motherhood was starting with me. I can't really say, but I experienced a different kind of beginning this year. It was like I opened up, I sprouted. So for me, I would say this year was a year of sprouting. So the next prompt I have here is 2024 was the year that 2024 was the year that I began. 2024 was the year that I started. It was the year that I truly stepped out of my comfort zone to be me, to use the best of my abilities, to not shrink, to not hide my light under a bushel. It was the year that I really started to live, honestly, if I'll put it that way. The next prompt is, what are your highlights and accomplishments of the year? My highlight and accomplishments of this year, I think the first highlight was that I became a mom. I became a mom, and honestly, I feel like it has really changed me. Not change in some kind of drastic way, but I'm seeing a kind of newness to me. My heart is enlarged. I am working in a capacity that I knew was there, but I had not really experienced before. And it is really nice. Another of my accomplishments, which may not really sound like an accomplishment to quite a number of people, was that this year I turned down a 7-figure job to pursue and build my own business. And honestly, that was like the most frightening thing to do. But the fact that I was able to look at myself, look at my abilities, and decide that I was done playing small and that I was going to bet on myself, regardless of what the economy is saying and the kind of juicy offers that I had, and I was going to build something for myself according to like the visions that God has placed in my heart. That is my highlight of the year. The next prompt says that, what were my top 3 favorite memories. The first one is when I saw my baby. Honestly, after months of just feeling him kick, all the anticipation and everything, and I just saw him. I cried. I cried. Because I'm like, oh my God, this is what I incubated in my tummy. Honestly, it was a very beautiful and deep experience. I had anticipated that moment a lot, but everything I imagined was nothing like that moment. It was nothing like that moment. I'm reliving it all over. Another of my favorite memory was when my dad reached out to me to tell me that he saw the things that I was doing and that he was really proud of me. Being such a daddy's girl growing up, that meant so much to me. Seeing that I had such a support system that believed in me crazily, just such an honor. Like to be seen and to be acknowledged by my father and my mother, because my mom has been leaving comments on my YouTube videos and it just means so much to me. Which other favorite memory do I have? I've shared so many favorite memories with my husband that I cannot start to count, and I don't want to disturb you or prepare you in this video. So I'm just going to keep that one. But I have quite a number of favorite memories with my husband. Who are the people that were the biggest part of my year? Number one, my husband. Because I don't know how I would have pulled through if I did not have such a supportive partner. I think for me, beyond the support, well, it's still part of support, but the thoughtfulness that my husband puts into fatherhood and husbandship, if there's any word like that, but into being there for me, into understanding my needs, filling the gaps. Honestly, he has been the biggest contributor to my year. The things that I've been able to do this year, despite the fact that, okay, I'm just entering these new paths of being a mom, it's because I got support. Support at home, mental support, emotional support, physical support, any kind of support you can think of. My husband did a really good job. He is doing a really good job with me. I'm well taken care of. Another person who has been a favorite part of my year is my family. I feel like this is the year that I've been the closest to after I got married and I moved out of my house, to my immediate family. That's my dad, my mom, my brothers, my biological dad, mom, and brothers. Because the way these people have come through for me, I did not even see it coming. My brothers are a darling. My mom and my dad has given me support in many ways that I cannot count. I cannot count it. And I am so grateful to be loved at home. I am super duper grateful to be loved at home, because it's not really a common thing as I used to think it is. And I think growing up, I've come to realize that what I have is rare. And I am deeply grateful for it. And I've made it a point of duty to be very, very grateful for it and to let them know that I see their support and I appreciate it. What made me feel the most passionate this year? Building my personal brand. Betting on me. In fact, I want that what I have been doing all my life, that I did not see the side of me, that I did not put so much effort into building my personal brand all this while, because I feel like I could have gone a lot further, done a lot more if I had started earlier. But if you ask me, one thing that I am really grateful that I did this year is putting myself out there, starting my YouTube channel, creating video content, teaching people, taking speaking engagements, and a lot of other interesting stuff that I have done for myself and not other people. Because I think one thing that I had to realize this year is that I am very comfortable with putting myself last, which should not be. Nobody should be putting themselves last place. What made me feel the most at peace? God's reassuring love. There was a time this year that everything was just coming at me from left, right, center, and I was just at a point where I was like, God, I need you to carry me. And that was really, really instrumental to me finding my peace. The kind of reassurance that God gives when you bask in Him, when you bask in His love, the kind of peace that surpasses all understanding. Oh, what an honor it is to be ordained and anointed, to be God's man and His scepter, to dance to the rhythm of His heart. I don't know if I need to say more, but God has been my peace. Because what? A lot of times this year wanted to be chaotic. It wanted to be mad. It wanted to be crazy. But my God, He always raises a standard against them. When was I my favorite self this year? Anytime I'm teaching, anytime I'm speaking, anytime I'm sharing the knowledge that I have, that's when I'm at my favorite. I'm in my element. When I'm talking, when I'm sharing what I know, when I'm impacting, when I'm building stuff, when I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do. You know, what amplified my energy this year? Being a mom. And that's quite shocking, yeah. But I feel like after I had my baby, there was this sense of responsibility that fell on me that made me feel like, girl, you have to get up because you get to show your son what is possible. And the height at which I get to is going to be his immediate understanding of what is possible. So if I decide to remain the way I am without growing, without pushing myself, that is going to be his understanding of possibility. I feel like that understanding just ignites something within me. This has been my doing year. This is the year that I did less planning, less talking, less gisting, less I don't know how to do this. And I'm doing the do, like I'm doing the work this year. And I'm really shocked because I thought that, oh, motherhood was going to sap my energy. We heard a lot of stories about how difficult it is to get up, but I don't know. For me, my energy has been quite different. So this prompt says, what is the one thing I really needed in 2024, but was not able to consistently give to myself, and why? And how can I change in the new year? For me, I think that is self-care. Taking a break, going out, enjoying myself. I feel like I really needed that, but I did not get the opportunity to give that to myself because I had quite a lot of back-to-backs, which is understandable. But next year, what I'm going to do to make that better is that I'm going to schedule self-care into my calendar. I'm going to take myself out, do things that make me happy that are not work-related. What major lesson did I learn this year? To set boundaries. It was very shocking for me to realize that I had been self-sabotaging. And that means that I have been intentionally doing things that kept me small because I did not pay attention to myself. And one of the things that I really lacked was setting boundaries. I just gave people too much access to me. But this year, I've learned how to set boundaries without frustrating anybody, without stressing anyone. The proper way to set boundaries. I've learned, okay, who should I be discussing my dreams and my visions with? Who should I not be discussing with? What should I discuss with this person versus this person? And how much access should this person have to my life? I feel like one of the reasons why I had difficulty setting boundaries is because I don't have quite a lot of friends. And so when I have friends, I tend to go really deep. But I had to come to an understanding that just because we are quite close does not mean that you need to have access to every aspect of my life, because some people cannot undo some certain things about you. And if you continue to give them access, you will never be able to get anything done because they will keep sowing seeds of doubt in you. And soon you may start to hear their voice louder than the voice of God. I don't really know if I've explained that to you, but one of my biggest lessons this year was that I need to learn how to set boundaries. What is the one thing I'm leaving behind this year? One thing I'm leaving behind in this year is self-sabotage. I am going to restrict certain voices from having a say. I am going to listen to myself more and listen to God. Take steps that I want to take boldly and stop seeking unnecessary validation. Okay, so this prompt says, what talent or skill do I have that I am not using or taking enough advantage of? I think that I'm not taking enough advantage of my ability to teach. And I think that I have maybe underestimated that ability for too long. I know that I'm called to teach. In the new year, I'm going to really put a lot of pressure on my teaching gifts. I'm going to be doing a lot of classes, a lot of webinars, a lot of speaking, a lot of impacting knowledge into people, a lot of mentoring. Of course, all of these things while I make sure that I am also growing. So this prompt says, what about 2024 was new for you? Motherhood. Motherhood was new. Motherhood was very new. But then I'm grateful for sports that has helped me to be able to navigate it easily. What about 2024 am I most grateful for? I am grateful for guidance from God. I'm grateful for a lot of things. If I start saying things I'm grateful for, but I'm not going to finish. But most importantly, I'm grateful for the assurance that God continues to give me. There's no point in my life, despite whatever I'm going through, that I don't have the understanding that I am a child of God. I am backed by God. I am loved by God. I am cherished by God. I am raised by God. I am carried by God. Everything God. Everything God. I hope that this review helps you put perspective into your year, and that maybe you gain one or two things from it, but you could use this to journal about your year and get some kind of self-awareness on how your year has been and what you don't want to get into the next year. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you in the next year. Bye-bye.